Piggyback and newsjack. What are these terms? What do they mean? How should you be using them? Content capture, content capture, content capture. You can leverage the international media attention at Davos this year, even if you're not attending the event. The World Economic Forum's Davos is a flagship event every January that sets the tone for the rest of the year, geopolitically, across industries, and more increasingly for public relations and communications. And you can newsjack or piggyback off the World Economic Forum's Davos in ways that you may not expect to leverage media coverage for your nonprofit or international organization. And today, I'm here to tell you how. Welcome to Maybe Pod. My name is Katie Clift. I'm the CEO and founder of international public relations agency Maybe, and you found yourself listening or viewing Maybe Pod, which is your open countercultural PR playbook podcast. So the WEF, Davos, how does it kind of link in with Maybe and Maybe Agency? I used to be the manager of corporate affairs for the World Economic Forum for about 5 years. I actually was part of the team that founded the approach to corporate affairs and the function of corporate affairs within the Global Communications Group. And I've seen over time, obviously, the importance of the World Economic Forum and the Davos event every year for, again, geopolitical reasons, for industries, for trends, setting the year ahead, and also increasingly for public relations and communications, how we handle and approach our communication strategy for the year ahead. The thing with the forum too is that it covers every topic that you can think of, every theme, every industry, every region. So there's always something that you can piggyback or newsjack off and leverage for your own media coverage for your organization. But hang on, let's rewind a little bit. Piggyback and newsjack, what are these terms? What do they mean? How should you be using them? What is newsjacking? Well, I have another definition for you. We love definitions here at Maybe Pod. Newsjacking is the practice of strategically inserting your brand or message into a breaking news story or trending topic to gain media coverage and increase visibility. There's a very easy way to piggyback off the news topic of the day and insert your organization, your messages, your vision, your mission into the story. For example, it's World Diabetes Day and you're a diabetes nonprofit. You may author an op-ed, a thought leadership piece, or issue a media release about World Diabetes Day that's linked to your organization that then brings you into the global conversation about World Diabetes Day. Maybe there's also new research in there, a call for funding, but a reason for the media to run with your story alongside a story that's already up and running. Newsjacking. That's what it is. How do we do it for Davos? Well, I'm glad you asked. I have 5 ways that you can leverage Davos, even if you're not attending the event, in terms of media coverage for your organization. Let's roll. Forum reports. This is a big one. So the forum releases every single year a global risks report, which identifies the upcoming global risks, medium and long term for the world across a range of different topics. So again, geopolitical, it could be natural disasters, mis or disinformation, whatever the report deems are the biggest global risks that are going to be hitting our world as I said, in the medium and long term. This is wonderful and it's released just before Davos. It's great because, again, it covers a range of different topics and you can literally use this report and cite it in a media release alongside a theme or message that's key and central to your nonprofit or international organization. What do I mean? For example, one of the top risks that was identified in last year's Global Risks Report was the risk of mis and disinformation. So if you're a nonprofit focused on combating mis and disinformation, you could issue a press release around when the Global Risks Report is put out. You can cite what the Global Risks Report says about it being one of the major risks for the short, medium, or long term. And you can insert yourself into the news cycle that's already covering this Global Risks Report, bringing to the fore perhaps your messages on mis and disinformation and the work that your nonprofit is doing to make an impact in this area. So using this report, it's their flagship report just before Davos comes out, so it's a great one to piggyback off and add your commentary. But there's a bunch of other reports that are industry specific that you can focus on during the week of Davos too. So keep an eye out for the rest of those reports. The second one is social videos. The World Economic Forum's social videos are one of their most popular pieces of content. They literally get millions of views, hundreds of millions of views per year. And of course, around Davos, their efforts on social video become even more pronounced. So if you see a social video that's related to the field that you're in, engage with it. You could repost it with your own commentary. Tag WEF using the hashtag. Be where the conversation is. So if people are already engaging with that content, put some details in the comments about how it's related to your nonprofit, your key messages, your core mission and vision, and be part of the conversation. Again, it's social media, part of our public relations strategy. And this is a great way to piggyback and newsjack off the WEF's social videos. Then we move to media coverage, all the traditional media coverage that occurs in and around Davos during the week itself. I mean, there are upwards of 10 million views on the World Economic Forum's blog alone, let alone all the other traditional media, print, radio, television, online that you're going to see pop up pre, during, and post the event. Look for themes, topics, and key messages that are central to your nonprofit. And don't be afraid to write to the journalist who put the story together in the first place that you saw to offer additional commentary, a new perspective, or any follow-up stories if it's relevant. On the ground, you can definitely leverage Davos if you're going to be on the ground this year, even if you're not a part of the official program. This is really easy to do with content capture. And you'll know if you've been to Davos before or you've seen videos or photos online. It's very well branded along the promenade. Davos is a really small ski village. So it's hard to get in and out of. That's a whole other story in itself. But you'll see that it's just obviously covered in snow in January at that time of year, but it's all branded World Economic Forum Annual Meeting 2025, Davos. So content capture, even if you're not a part of the official program, you can stand outside some of the branding, be in the snow, do interviews, do a podcast live from physically Davos on the ground and leverage the physical space in order to boost reputation and piggyback off the fact that Davos is happening. You're a part of the conversation, you're physically there, and you're engaging with the event. You can also reach out to media who will be live at the event to see if they need expert commentary. But back to the content capture, this is interesting because I'm surprised at the lack of organizations that I see actually doing this. I mean, it's such a ripe opportunity to be physically there. Again, you could do a piece to camera, you could interview other stakeholders that are important or what they found interesting during Davos. I mean, it's such a big, easy lift to do. You can just whip out an iPhone and record, and not enough organizations take advantage of that. So I would say if you're going on the ground this year, content capture, content capture, content capture. The last one I love, it's post-event activation. So once Davos is finished, everyone leaves the small ski village. It's not over in terms of your public relations and communications. In fact, some of the best pickup I've seen is post-event. So you take the themes, the learnings, maybe some of the reports, and the outcomes of Davos, and you comment on them post the event. Obviously, specifically related to the theme, the key message, the industry that your nonprofit is engaged in. For example, for me, I often pitch pieces about public relations and communications and what was discussed at Davos post the event to trade journals, cover our commentary on what happened during Davos. This is a really great way, again, to boost your profile that you were in Davos, you've newsjacked off the event, and it's post-event activation. So it still stays relevant for months throughout the year, if not the whole year, what's discussed and done at Davos. So this is a wonderful way to continue the conversation. Don't underestimate post-event activation. Another great example of this is that we, as Maybe Agency, co-host a comms lunch club in London every quarter. So our next Comms Lunch Club in February will be focused on Davos, the key takeaways that we had from the event this year and what it means for PR and comms professionals for the year ahead. It's another great example. It could be a post-event activation that's a media pitch or even an event that you hold yourself. So that's how to maximize leverage in and around Davos itself. But this applies to any other big global event that's going on during the year. The World Health Assembly, UNGA, New York Climate Week, COP30, you name it. You can use these same key tactics to make sure that your organization is a part of the conversation, the big global conversation about these events. Again, pre, during, and post the event, even if you're not attending. So I hope you enjoyed that PR insider tip, and I hope you use it for Davos and beyond into 2026. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Maybe Pod. This is brought to you by International Public Relations Agency Maybe. It's your countercultural open PR playbook. If you love this episode, please hit like, follow, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. You can also check us out online at maybe.agency, but I will see you in the same time, at the same place next week. Bye.